Hello everyone, welcome back. How are you all doing? Well, today we're continuing where we left off last time, so we're gonna do a little bit of session recap from last time. I'm gonna show you some props that I made last time, and then we are gonna be just prepping a little bit, polishing what we had, and yeah, preparing for the session on Friday. And so, yeah, let me check what is happening here. Yeah, you should be hearing some music now. I'm trying to stream on both horizontal and vertical now, so we can help more people with the prep hangout. This is the perfect second screen content, so hopefully more people join this time, because I really think that questions are what drives the discussion forward. So, with that, let's jump straight into the all right. Um, I have replaced my old camera, you will see, with a better one. It's a mobile phone, so hopefully now you can actually read stuff that I'm writing down. And let me see, for the vertical gang, I will need to do some rearranging, like so. I will probably need to remind myself constantly that you're seeing or not seeing stuff. All right. So, last time, what was the big idea? Well, we had the campfire session that went well, better than I expected. Then we had this one that I called photosynthesis, but unfortunately, fortunately, it's one of those things where you can't really know. My players decided not to go that route. I really thought, and from what they said, I really hope that they're gonna go and, like, finish all of the quests that they had and then go to the capital and stuff is gonna happen there. And this is the moment that I will turn the spoilers on, just because here on the page there are some spoilers. Light ones. If you're not reading this, then you're fine. So audio is okay for my players. Hey, there's one. Hello. So, I did some extra prep at home. I took, since we're playing Kingmaker and there is a good hex scroll there, I took all of the locations around the Stag Lord's Keep and just used some, AI to summarize it, because I can't go through everything and like do my own little notes, so I would just pump it in. And the one disclaimer, I never use AI for writing stuff, because that's the fun. The fun part is actually building all of this and writing it, and you were looking at me, like watching me do it. So I use it as a good tool to summarize things. And yeah, I am looking like I'm about to buy Facebook, but it's really cold here, even though it's like 17 degrees outside Celsius. So yes, we are doing the, um, Steve Jobs attire, which is good. We are inventing stuff. We're inventors here. So I did summarization of all the locations around their keep. Unfortunately, I haven't pushed that to the repository, so I had to do it from the book anyways, so it was a bit slower. But my players went, interacted with a lot of different, beings and landmarks in the region. They even sent some not goblins, gnomes to their keep, and some woodcutters, and a lot of small things happened. But I would like to focus now on some of the physical things, some of the handouts and interesting things that we made. So first of all, these are fumble cards from Paizo, and we had to print them out. We bought the PDF and then had to print them out and cut them ourselves. And I tried cutting them with the X-Acto knife. I put my finger on the ruler and just cut, and you can see, oh my god, I really cut half of my finger there. Anyways, we ended up cutting these by hand with scissors, and they are so cool. I don't think most of them are like, you know, general. You don't need to play Pathfinder to actually have some use there. So, for example, all of them have melee, ranged, unarmed, and spell fumbles, and we use them when you roll a natural one. So, I don't know, if you attacked with melee and fumbled, you're moved 10 feet in a random direction. And how do we determine random directions? Well, the direction die. So I would just roll this, say you move 10 feet that way. I don't know, for ranged, until the end of your next turn, all your range penalties are doubled. So technically you can fire half of your range, which is unfortunate for one turn. So just adding variety into critical failures that is not too, you know, hard on the players. And I would like draw these for monsters as well, but I've seen fumble tables that are too, you know, too harsh, like, oh, you broken a leg, or you lost your weapon indefinitely. Losing items is something that I want to play around with more, but I would get a mutiny in my in my group for that. It has to be done through story. It can't be done just by rolling a 1, you know. Every time you're rolling a d20, you're risking of like having a 5% chance to lose something you really like. I don't know, there's for magic, target gets a +2 on attack rolls until the end of next turn, so you're buffing the enemy in a way to hit you more easily. So these cards, I recommend them for most of the games. You can find like the popular ones, I think, like for fantasy mostly. So even if you're playing like index card RPG or D&D, Pathfinder 1, whatever, like even for, I would say, any D20 fantasy game is kind of compatible with this. Why D20? Because of these like minuses and pluses. They are kind of, you know, going to affect the percentage of success on a D20, not a D100. Of course, you can do conversions, but all in all, I really recommend these cards. They are fantastic. So, and why is my chat not showing up on? Let me check what's happening there. As always. Oh, I clicked a button. There we go, stuff is happening. Okay. Because I have 2 streams now, the vertical and the horizontal one, and I have my chat on my phone, so it's really hard to see what is happening on the other, you know, the other stream. Then, the ability, yeah, this is one of my players asking, by the way, I meant to ask you, should I give the Staglord helmet to our druid, or can I keep it on my gunslinger? So the thing is, the helmet, it was made by people worshipping Yggdrasil, who is kind of more compatible with our druid, but that doesn't mean that it's giving him any different, you know, status effects, or yeah, it is more compatible with you. So I would say that he got the message and he is trying to, you know, discover what the helmet is doing, but technically it is more compatible with you because its active effect does help you like mark a target, and then that target is off guard, which gives you a +2 circumstance bonus, I think. Or actually, it is +2, but it's actually worded as -2 to their AC. So I would say, yes, you should probably keep it. It's more compatible with you. Now, last time we mentioned that we were working on some kingdom mechanics, because we are playing Kingmakers, so kingdom mechanics are supposed to happen. But there is a big thing where we don't want to be using the rules that were supplied with the book, because they are too complicated. We just want to keep it in the background. So we decided to use a system from our own game called Redmark. It's in development right now, and with that we could like really show off like how the kingdom is progressing and have some roles that are compatible with Pathfinder without going too much into the details of, hey, we're building a bridge here, we're doing this here. So it's a bit of a higher level overview, a simple one. In the previous stream, you have a detailed explanation of how that works, but I did make some oh, you will not see it on the horizontal one. I made some, I wouldn't say handouts, this is gonna be attached to a board behind me. So every kingdom is either trained, untrained, trained, expert, master, or legendary in these skills, and we would use the dry erase marker to note that down here. And then we have the other one, which will just be like a tracker of from -4 to +4, like a bonus that you are having in these aspects. And the cool thing is that this will also show you how well your kingdom is, how healthy it is in these aspects. So, for example, society -4 is probably like a uprising about to happen. There is big unease, people are unhappy. Society at +4 is like thriving, people are coming, merchants are gathering around your city, and you can then return that to 0, and you will get a +1 for all these. The same way that these like bonuses work in Pathfinder 2e. So you have your like level of expertise plus your level plus a certain bonus, and that gives you a bonus that you have on your d20 roll. And we said that these d20 rolls will then be compared with the standard level DC table from Pathfinder. So it's all figured out. How this will work, we don't still know, because we haven't been working on it yet. That is something that I'm hoping to try and start doing on the next session. Our players or characters are now level 4, which is cool. They hate me for making them play what is this, like nine sessions for level 4, but I was following the chapters in the book. It was like milestone leveling. I was following the chapters, and I think like now that they defeated the Stag Lord, now it is the time for them to be level 4. It will be very challenging for the vertical stream to show you both pages without moving the camera. Oh, actually, we can always do this. Wow, now you're seeing the other one. Yeah, this was the Stag Lord fight. Now they own this thing. All right. So if I haven't used any of these things, and we have a game on Friday, why are we here? Well, I want to add a bit of flair to what we have so far. I want to read the letter that one of the players wrote to the city of Tolona, to his father, who is a noble there. I want to see if we can inject a bit more personality into it all, and yeah, just see what our brains come up with. It would be pretty fun, I would assume. And yeah, just check out these things. So I would advise Saleh from chat, one of my players. These are super duper big spoilers for you. So we have a letter for him, and I printed it out on well, we don't have to read it. If you look at the previous stream, you will know who it's from and what does it say. But I had to like find a font that is, you know, a bit like a written font, print it out on a regular A4 paper, do the coffee thing. You know the coffee thing, like you take a piece of paper, just put some coffee in a jar, and then with a brush you just go over the paper on both sides, let it, you know, dry, and you have this really cool parchment paper look. So yeah, we have that. Oop. Close it. It's a nice little envelope. And this is what our player wrote to the capital. Let's see. And I will be translating because it's in Serbian. I will be translating on the fly. So, the enemies of the kingdom, Staglord, quotations, are neutralized. We have taken the fort and now we're securing the perimeter with the cause. So that there is no new enemy units or uprisings happening. Send us some people who we can trust and some supplies. See you soon. With love, Dorian. P.S. Tartuk is maybe alive. Don't be mad, please. They told him that they killed Tartuk, so yeah. Don't be mad, please. Oh, he is about to be mad for so many different things. Tartuk is not one of them. Okay, interesting. So, as always, we will start with just writing down all of the things that we want to check out, and I have some notes as always on what we should focus on and what came to my mind during the week, so we're gonna write that down as well. We just find an empty page after the... No. Fine. Yeah, we can use this one. Things are appearing on the mobile phone. Take a sip of coffee. Are you hearing any music? It's not good second screen content if you're not hearing any, you know, interesting, nice things. Before we go into the prep, is there anything else I would like to mention from the last game? Well, mostly hex scrolling, and yes, there were some encounters and some social things. Most notably, they got a couple of quests. They met the nymph that lives in a lake. She told them to go find some seed. They met the witch, which was just enigmatic. Everyone is completely insane in the no man's land, so I don't think anything like emotionally satisfying happened in this session. It was just exploring, you know. They got some loot, they found some treasure maps, learned about some other landmarks. All in all, that reminds me, I did promise to one of my players who has a feat to like note down if something is important when it comes to a landmark. Like remember if it can be used in any way. So one thing is I need to write tags for Sar. Sar is one of the characters. That is one thing. Then let's see the notes. So they sent one of the servants to go and deliver this letter to the capital. So reply from Tolona. Then oh my god, the cleric is just making horrible things happen with gods. He is a servant of the blind god who is like a homebrew uh, god in my world. There is canonically two gods in my world, and everyone else is just a manifestation of those two gods. So he is a servant to the blind god. Then he became a servant of Martis, who is banished in the shadow plane because he loved the nymph and tried to promote her into Elder of the First World, which is like a semi-godlike figure from Feywild that, well, he was banished because other elders didn't think that love story makes sense, and it was like a blasphemous thing to do, like recommend that a mere nymph, is promoted to an elder. And elders are like the first beings that gods created, so they're not gods, but like a level below. And now he has taken a symbol of who knows what god. I haven't really figured it out, because in the book there is a proper like symbol of blah 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 that is dropped by a druid, I think. And then he took it, it became hot, and he used it to engrave a symbol of that third god into his hand. So, third god, what are we gonna do with that? Something to explore. Okay, so woodcutters are gonna start building houses around the keep and provide wood. We need to keep track of time. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 7 days passed. While they were going around and hex scrolling. We had Adrasil, the god of nature things, so we could probably Google that. So check what's happening with that, and Wucheta, our druid, had a vision, so we would probably need to follow up this vision with something. Is my phone flickering? Probably because the lights and the phone, you know, the... Okay, if that doesn't bother you right now, I would fix it later, because I think there is a deflicker mode, but this, everything here is standing with, like, thanks to thoughts and prayers. I'm not going to touch anything because it will fall apart. Does OBS have some control to give me here? No, maybe a filter or something. There is probably something for deflickering this thing, but I'm not really sure how to do it right now. I think we'll just have to deal with it for now. At least the picture quality is better, so... You can't have it all. Let's check the other stream. It's working. Oh, for some reason on the other stream I'm not seeing the whole... Oh, I only see it when I go into full screen mode. Okay, that is That is not good. See, we're learning how to stream together. Should probably just put myself down there and then pull this up a bit. Oh, pull this up a bit. There we go. You're seeing chaos. Just learning to do this together. Oh, I'm still not seeing myself. So I have to be in the middle of the frame for this to work. Oh my god. That is like the dumbest thing. YouTube, why? They know for those watching on the wide version don't really know what's happening, but that doesn't matter right now. Okay, I think we did it. It's just horrible. I mean, I don't understand what that means. Ferdinand. When looking for answers online by their American organization mission. Is this a yes/no question? If so, no. Okay, so what is next? Yes, they got a quest to find some mushrooms. So I'll just show a little mushroom. Quest. Okay, those are the things from the notes during the game. Yeah, let's see what I wrote on my phone. Okay. Cool. So, big mega spoilers now for my players. So if you're in the chat, now I will start prepping the game. And with that, we go to... Okay. Right. So, since we have all this, we cannot add to it. Like, there is no space for me to write anything here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use index cards. A bunch of index cards. I have to increase the volume a bit. Oh, where is this? There we go. Okay, need a couple. So, first of all, there is this one NPC that survived the siege that my players had on the Staglord's Keep, and he already decided like he's going to turn his blade towards Staglord and betray him. So after the battle was done, he has sworn to work for and protect the players, the characters. So he is cool and everything, but he's very one-dimensional. His story, he's called Akyros, and his story is that he was like a paladin of Yggdrasil, I think, which is pretty cool because we have him as someone who can be a hook for our druid. American Soul. I do not have an American Soul, no. I think, judging by the like older movies that were popular, like action movies, I'm more closer to the Serbian, you know, mafia center plot villain, I would say. But yeah, Akyros is very one-dimensional. His story: he was a paladin, fell in love with a woman, figured out that she has a husband. The husband tried to like attack him, disgrace him, and in like the, you know, attack of rage, he like has killed them both. So then he left. He ran to the no man's land, found the Staglord, and somehow became second in command there. So let's think of a way to make him more, you know, lovable, more human, I would say. What is happening with my... Okay, technology not doing its thing. I see other dungeon masters are also live at the moment. Nice. There's so much prep to watch today. Where is my channel? What is happening? For some reason I can't open any of the streams. Which is really interesting. Okay, just really strange bug with YouTube right now. Crazy. Right. Had to do some bookkeeping because I don't have a moderator here, and I'm pretty sure that some sus activity is happening here, so I have to do it myself. There we go. Back in the game. Right, Akiros. Akiros becoming human. Can add a bit of a, you know. There you go. It's always nice to go back to your drawings and just add a little bit of flair. We're playing around like that, especially because this paper fades, and also I play, like I put stuff on it while we're playing, so it gets all messy. Akiros. Becoming human. Okay. So, how do I imagine this? Now, as I mentioned a couple of times on my streams, I am not very good with, you know, interpersonal things. Like if I want to, you know, make someone feel three-dimensional or like keep track of what was said and done, and it doesn't come naturally to me to, you know, say, okay, last time this is what they talked about, so it's natural this time we continue like this. So I have to write down like sometimes full sentences of how I want to get it across. For some people, they prep like, I don't know, dungeons and names and other things. For me, one of the things that I think takes a lot of real estate is like these interpersonal like directions in which I want to take stuff. So for Akiros, I definitely see him coming to the... So it has been like 7 days he has been keeping the fort safe, and now as they are like having a lunch, dinner, something, sitting around the campfire, he would approach now. There is two things that could happen. He could approach each of the players while they're doing something like alone and personal, but I think since we have 5 characters, that would come off as a bit of, you know, a bit creepy. So we're not gonna do that. Where is my pen? So I think they're probably gonna be all gathered around the fire, and he's gonna come. Now we can even do a little fire here. Just like, let's say there will be a fire there. Maybe some logs. Now I have to move this up here because of the vertical one. Let's say logs. There's like... Doesn't have to be like anything special. We're not trying to make a art piece, just like for us to be cool. So, I don't know. We're gonna put a lot of fire there. Anyways, so we're gonna have a bit of a wood texture there, whatever. There you go. And around this big fire, we can write some things. So I always put exclamation marks, everything. But let's color it right away. Why not? We're not even like talking or thinking about what we're gonna do about the fact that my players are not even going to consider going to the capital right now. Well, that's something that we need to somewhat think about while we do this. I don't know. I have this way that I always do fire. Kind of looks interesting at the end, like a gradient of yellow, orange, red. I know at this time it doesn't look like fire, it doesn't really, but Always make sure that it's not like going through on your notes, so it's maybe better to do it on like a harder surface, like so. Just add a bit of red here. And there you go, you have a fire. Isn't that amazing? Keep going. Yeah. A lot of fires recently. Must, you know, observe that. Make the observation. I have these. Don't even know how this is called. But works good. It's wax crayons. Yay, crayons. We're gonna use a little bit of those, and we're gonna use this one. Just add borders to things with the brush marker. Again, we're not aiming for any type of like professional drawing. I'm not good with drawing anyways, but just to give you the vibe. I always say, like, everything we do here while we prep, or at least how I prep, is mostly like creating a movie poster. It's going to give you the vibe that you're going for while, you know, while running, and it also stays with you. You know, it is something interesting to look at. Someday, this book will be a book of memories, and that is what we want. Brown. So, pencil works on this one, but doesn't work on a notebook. There we go. Just that. Put it there. Some would say like this is a waste of perfectly good prep time to make a little fire here, but I think not. Now we know. Cozy night. We are mentioning cozy nights. See, like, this is another thing that I want to remember. So, do we have a blue here somewhere? I don't need a blue. Can work with. Like, yeah, it is blue. Cool. So we are gonna add like blue, because blue reminds me of night. Why? We're gonna add blue there. Both directions. Yeah, smudge it a bit. Go. Maybe add a little moon somewhere, or stars. Yeah, we can add a little stars. Just, you know, now when I look at this, I don't even have to read anything. I know. Cozy night, Akiros, fire, and now we write what he says. So, the first thing is we want him to open up, and we want to say something like, I loved her. I am not mindless killer. She betrayed me. So he really didn't know about the whole husband situation, so he did love her. He will open up. He will tell this to one of the players. Who is the best candidate for this? Well, Tsar. He's obsessed with love because he's Neris's champion, so to him. The other side, we have... let's see, I have some notes on this. Pow, pow, pow. Okay, he will talk to Sar, the gunslinger. He will tell the gunslinger something like your... I hope the gunslinger is not in the chat right now. We're gonna put this here because it's more convenient for me. Yeah, there we go. He's gonna say something like, you're too easy on the trigger. And I will write this one in Serbian because I will have to read it at some point. See, this is something that a lot of people wouldn't do, but I really like the way it's phrased, and I want, you know, to not read it, but like have this reference, read it, and then like deliver it. I want that the specific wording. So this is for Sar. What I wrote is, you're too easy on the trigger, too easily. You take life too easily. Trust me, from my experience, I'm telling you, think before you pull it. Think before you find someone on the other side that you care about. Not bad translation, but you get it. Like, hey, you might shoot someone that you care about, basically. Cool. So I would add here another one. You have that glow. You are visited by... We're gonna continue on the other side. And just seal the God Eye. The Father that will never take me back. I wanted to restore temple. The note, he can show where it is. What is the word, like, when you do something bad and you want to, you know, do something so what you did that was bad kind of goes, you know. Iskupiti in Serbian, I don't know. To atone, tune, repent. Whatever. I'm gonna read this in Serbian anyways. Okay, so he's coming to our druid who had the vision and saying like, hey, you have that glow around you. Sitting next to him, you know, I can feel it. It was the god I was supposed to serve, the god I betrayed, the father that will never take me back. I wanted to restore his temple on the west to atone for my mistakes. But now I'm in your service and I can show you where it is, blah blah blah, you know, and this is something that our druid would be very, very much interested in. So Yes. What do we do about other players? Well, we have one more. Like, we have two more, but I only want him to talk to one more. Don't think like the world had interactions with this character, because he joined us actually last game, so I think it is a dwarf blacksmith fighter, and his whole family was kind of unalived by some bandits. The bandits that they destroyed in the Staglord's Keep. So, what would Akira say? Something like, I never wanted it to continue. I came here to stop them. I came here because I didn't have where to go. My mission became to stop them. Yet I still feared that God I betrayed. I am sorry for not being best. It cannot bring back your family. I will be by your side. Okay, this will be for Rick. Cool. Lovely. Can add a bit of color to this side as well. We don't want it to be too boring looking. And I think that's one thing off the list. Little highlights for myself. There we go. Wonderful. We're gonna keep that in here as well. Fitting place for another index card, I would say. It's the big fire, next to the big fire. All right. That would be this thing off the list. There. Losing caps left and right. No. Oh, there it is. What next? Write landmark tags for SAR. That is very boring to do right now, so we're not gonna do that. Maybe later. Maybe at home. I will see. Not now. These two things are also bookkeeping, obsidian. I write everything like that is long-term in obsidian and then push it to a GitHub repository, and then I can pull it on my laptop or work on my main machine, because this is just a little MacBook that I'm using for streaming, which works pretty well. I'm shocked that it can do 2 streams at the same time, and still, like, the phone camera is also working pretty well. It has a better focus than the old one. Pretty cool stuff. So this is obsidian material. We should probably start writing the date in the session somehow. The shroom quest. We're gonna write that for the, you know, the board. This one. Reply from Tolona. That is the one we should focus on. Now, oof, there is a big problem. Not a big problem, but like one part of the group will want to explore more around the, you know, around the fortress. Our druid wants to go to that temple. And we don't want him to go to the temple, we want him to go to Tolona. And he can be lured there by the wood giant problem that we already prepped, and also, so it boils down to having a proper letter that will actually make them want to, you know, come back to Tolona. Okay, let me go and get some parchment paper for the reply and for the quest. Alright, so one piece of paper for the quest, so I can attach it to their board, and one for the letter. I think because this is like a letter from Tolona, I would actually cut these so it looks a bit more, you know, professional. Like they have knives, they can cut paper straight. I wouldn't like do it too much, but at least like have it, you know, not look like it's torn that much. And then write a message on this. I will then use the construction tape to make a ribbon. I don't have any from cloth. Bleh. English. Okie dokie. There we go. This looks like a proper ribbon. We give it a little, you know, pull. We make it. There we go. So when we curl this, we put the ribbon on, and then it's a poor man's craft. What can I say? And we should do some crafting on these streams. Like for now, we're just hanging around, prepping sessions. Very time inefficient. I'm rambling too much. But yeah, I really love crafting. I haven't been crafting for a while because mostly not enough time. Let me see if I can get my hands on some wax. Send a message to my sister. Maybe she has the, you know, the set to like make from wax a little stamp. That would be quite good. Now, because I'm not used to writing 21st century kids, right? Should I say little zoomers? We're the worst. Can't write, barely read, attention spans gone to hell. Honestly, D&D as a hobby helped me a lot with my attention span and like the way I consume content. I'm more now oriented towards making content, writing stuff. So, what would they reply? Something like, even though I am very proud of your achievements, son. So much about attention span. Okay, she will check if we have the wax thing. So even though I am very proud of your achievements, son, and will make sure the whole city knows. Dolona is under attack, blah blah blah. I'm trying to write in like cursive Cyrillic. I'm too used to Latin, too used to Latin, oh my god. Cyrillic looks cooler to write it. what is the name of that druid. I will read you the letter when I'm done. Of course, don't worry. I'm not missing out on much. Just remind myself what the name was of this one. Druid. I might not even have it. Yeah, it is before I started writing in my notebook. Let me see. It was session 3, I think. Yeah. Or session 2 might be. Yeah. Yehod Kavkan. Yehod, whatever the pronunciation is. Yehod. Okay. This is why I do it with the pencil first, so I can later do it with something more permanent. I am very much satisfied with this. Wanted it to all be on one page, but that wasn't possible. Oh, it would be nice to have something that's like a little bit thicker than this, but lighter than the other one. I don't think I have anything like that. Okay, we do it like this. Dear Dorian, your news bring me great joy. I will make sure that the whole capital hears about your bravery. Okay, that is the opening of the message. Since one of the players studied literature, Serbian literature, I'm like constantly, you know, a bit on the edge if he is gonna be a grammar Nazi and yeah. Tell me this is actually grammatically wrong. Hey neighbor, how are you all doing? You and your roommate. Tomorrow is Tuesday, just saying. Without any specific reason, it's Tuesday. Our drinking holiday. Have to plan something for Tuesday. But to your great news, I have to reply with bad news. Something like that, but phrased a bit nicer. Um, Tolona can't provide people nor supplies. The wood giants are abducting people from its perimeter and coloring them yellow. Druid, who is here, Yehod, says that this act of marking, this is the act of marking apex predators that should be executed. Tolona cannot oblige. We are expecting consequences. Any help is welcome. If Tolona is at war, Aldoris are at war. Come home, Dorian. Let us solve this crap and get you an official permit to rule. Tartuk is a problem for another time. That is the message, basically. Look how cool Cyrillic looks. Like, honestly. No shade on Latin. I write almost exclusively in Latin, but looks freaking cool. I mean, all letters look cool with a proper font, I guess. Okay, that took so long. Ah, my arm hurts. Um, should probably take an eraser and go over it all. Mm. Scheduling is becoming a problem. I see. Oh no, it's not. Friday, it seems. One more player to confirm. Okay, need to get the eraser. Be right back. Here I am. Ba-dow, ba-dow. Hopefully. So we don't press too hard. Um, we don't want to like lighten up the paper too much, take the coffee off the layer. And so just enough for that pencil to be erased. We don't want it to look like one of the nobles from the family of Oldori can't write and needs to do it with a pencil first. Don't laugh at me. There was a time where I used, you know, like the feather and ink type of thing, like calligraphy stuff. Not like real calligraphy, but like, you know, I wanted to write everything with like ink. You had like a head of that quill. Is it called quill? I'm not sure. And you like pull lines and it's like straight. It's not like a point. Like this pen has a, you know, point. It was like compared to this, like one pen has this, the other had this, and then you would write, and as you curve your hand, it makes such wonderful lines. Finally done with this handout. So how do we pack it so none of the text can be seen from any side? Well, that's... we can just do this. Around the pencil. Curl it up real good. Take our fake ribbon. Tie it around. It'd be so much better if it was real cloth. I do have real cloth, but I don't really want to cut that one. It's really, it's nice, you know. I don't want to cut it. So put this thing that looks like a ribbon. It'd be ideal to have like a little... Nah, we don't need tie. And just cut this here and here. Cut it at an angle so it looks like... No? Trying to see what will look the best, but I think maybe just cutting it almost all the way actually looks the best. Like so. So there. This little thing should spark everything that we have written in the notebook. It says, hey, we can't send anyone, come, and it also mentions a permit, which means, yeah, you do need a permit, and this is how you get it. Come be a hero and you'll get your permit. So, another handout. And I think with that we solved this part. right? This too, we will leave to obsidian. This one also, so not now, not now. Yggdrasil. Well, Akiros kind of, you know, is already pointing this to the temple. And we have the scroll that we just made pointing towards Tolona. So I think what needs to be clear is that if you help out with Tolona, then you're kind of like getting bonus points for when you go to the temple, and vice versa. But this, with that scroll, we have claimed urgency, so that is important. And these were basically this is what we mentioned. So this here is done. Now let's do the quest. Quest. Oh, what was the name of those mushrooms? Black-capped Sanokape in Serbian, black caps. Okay. Gather as many black caps. We'll draw a little mushroom. We'll leave some holes on the mushroom so I can add red into them. Or maybe something fluorescent. Where is the fluorescent one? Nobody know. There was a yellow one that was pretty cool. Can't find it right now. We can use this one. Whatever. Yeah, will work. Right. We can add as a brown body. We can add a bit of, you know, like so. Yeah, just a little quest. Source. Which reward question mark. There you go. Nothing special. Doesn't need to be all wow and special. Just we made the scroll look nice. The quest, it just goes on the board, and that's it. It doesn't need to be anything wild. All right. So I have one thing I wanted to do is the whole conflict with the wood giants. There will be fallen wood giants, and I wanted them to actually, as they have like lost vital energy, I want them, or died, I want them to be like frozen as statues around Tolona, and then for who knows how long we will still have, you know, the reminder of the battle that was. I think that is pretty cool. I'm streaming twice because the shorts feed actually catches the vertical one, or it should, and then while people are scrolling, they can like see the notebook, maybe get hooked, check it out, and then if they click on the main thing, they should see the horizontal stream. It's just like something I found online that is recommended to do, and it's not really that much of a setup, so we're trying it out. And thank you for joining us. Welcome. So, yeah, statues, wood statues. Now we can just do like little doodle of a statue. Statue on wood giant's death. To remember. We can color it in some interesting color that is different than other things, like this one. There you go. The stony part with stone colors. Maybe add some yellow around it because it's really not visible to me. Yeah, that should be enough to remind me. So what are we left with? We're left with a question: what happens with our cleric and that thing that is engraved in his hand? I think that thing... we might skip that for now. We don't need it. And we're already streaming. We're live for 2 hours. I don't think we should even like do that. And I wanted to check how troops work in Pathfinder 2e. But I can do that on my own. Like, there is a video. I think it's How It's Played or the Rules Lawyer. One of those two channels has information on that. So, just happened that we had a lot of actors in the last fight, and it would be easier to handle them as troops instead of, you know, individual actors in the initiative order. Okay. Pretty good, pretty good. Hello. The eclectic goat is here. The one responsible for getting me into streaming in the first place, I would say. Yeah. I think we can now stop with the prep and hang out a bit. Talk about some interesting stuff. Let me just push my little cards in. The new approach for cards is so easily torn. I have to figure out something else for this. This is not... I mean, you can always add more Mod Podge, and that's something I want to do with the whole book at some point. Want to do like a, you know, maybe a coat of Mod Podge on this side. But like, space out the pages so they don't, you know, glue together. Maybe there must be some sort of coating, like something that you can spray that's elastic enough to be on a page. I mean, the page can become, you know, completely sturdy. I don't mind that as long as it's not brittle. I think that can be done. And this page has to be glued to this one for next prep, probably. There's so many anomalies on these papers. Like every page is like a journey with its own properties and problems. See, there's little holes in some places, big bumps. Look at this one. It's like a huge bump. Still, I went and searched for the next one because this one is gonna be filled pretty fast if you're taking two pages, you know, and gluing them together. And I found the same one as this, but turquoise, like blue, this color, and it looks really cool. But I was thinking, should I really go with the same type of paper that is so hard to work with? I kind of got used to it. There's something interesting in the texture of it. Like I get a feeling like I am working with ancient documents, if that makes sense. Oh, thank you for the nice words. But I don't know, I was always kind of against streaming. I thought like you can't really, you know, boil down what you want to say into like a discrete message. But then like we hanged out, I was listening to your streams and started listening to other streams as well, and honestly, very good second screen content. So let's discuss stuff. So for today, I wanted to talk about well, my thoughts on very cool video. I thought about playing it on stream, but I'm not much for reaction content. Runehammer started doing room design videos again, and the last one, well, the basic idea was that, oh wait, oh no, actually I have dry erase markers here. So the basic idea was that there was a dungeon that had something like, I don't know, something like this, and these were corridors, and if I remember correctly, something along those lines. And here was the entrance, or there was the exit. So yeah, it was like this. We had an exit here, and we had an entrance here. So there was another part of the dungeon. If you want to check out the whole room design, I really recommend you do so. But the idea was there was something important happening in this part, and to get to it you have to go through this, let's call it, maze. Of course there were some additional details on this map, but what I want to focus on is the enemy that was in like in this corridor. And this enemy was a big cube taking up all the space in this. So imagine that even the entrance is like that same size, but the cube is taking all the space of the corridor, even this one, the whole strip, you know, and it cannot come into this room, and it cannot interact with whatever is on the other side. But as soon as it sees a player that walked in, it will just start rushing like a trap, like a bulldozer, just start pushing to the other side, and it will go to the end of the corridor. the longer it moves, the bigger damage it will deal. And now, even this very simple shape will actually become quite a puzzle. Now, this thing, if it's in initiative order, it is not that scary. Okay, one player goes inside. This thing bulldozes that player to this wall. But what happens next? Well, the initiative order of other players comes and they can just rush past it. So what is mentioned in that video is that this thing has like reaction points. It has, I don't know, it was represented with like skull dice that is on the table. Like you have a pool of 5 or X skull dice. And I would, for example, just put the number. This would be how many reactions it has. And the reaction means that I can tick this down. Tick this down to move the thing outside its initiative order. So now it slams one player here, others go inside. I tick this down and slam the others here. So the thing is, this cube can either protect the passage, like it can block different passages, or it can attack. And Hank said that you can kind of like answer this question, does it attack or defend, with the die 1 to 3A. The first option, 3 to 4, 5, 6, the second option. Now, I'm not giving it justice, I just wanted to show it because a couple of things here really caught my attention. First, this is an enemy, but it is not behaving like an enemy. It is not. It is more like a trap. On the other hand, you can play with the fact that it's an enemy. You can give it hit points. You can work with it. The interesting thing is this movable thing. This enemy is this contraption, man-made horror or whatever, is always like acting outside the initiative order. It has the reaction count. And I know a lot of systems support something similar. There are reactions in Pathfinder, there are bonus actions and like even lair actions from D&D. If you are inside someone's lair, maybe this is on the lair action initiative, this will happen. But I think it's really clear that this can react multiple times. You don't even have to say it. Like first time it happens and you take this down and you do it outside initiative, the players will figure out what is happening. And you're communicating how this functions so intuitively, so easily. But this whole challenge, you can draw it like in any way you want. The thing is, this thing bulldozes from one side to the other. And if you want this to really make sense and not be a puzzle that is easily avoidable, well, then you need to have a timer. You need to have something that will happen here that really needs you to act fast. In that case, this becomes dangerous. And if you spray a little like low-level obstacles around, then this becomes the biggest threat there is. And now you're risking something horrible happening if you don't outsmart it. I think it is just a genius way to design a thing. And I just wanted to share it. I think you should check out the full video. It is on Runehammer's channel. Think of the reaction die mechanic. Think of how one more thing that was really fun for me there is how Hank figured out what the timer should be, how long the timer should be for whatever is happening here, the big thing that you're trying to get to in time. And he did it by playing this thing. I don't think we do that. Like, I've seen other GMs prep, and you've seen me prep, and we're prepping all of these things that are, at this point in our GM careers, hard to do. But we're not always playing this. Like, I would do the math for some things, but I am still surprised when things happen. And I would find myself preparing a lot of different mechanics that are new, that are like this, for example. And then I wouldn't playtest that. I would just go into the game and hope for the best, hope to patch it during the game, because I am not in a position to, I wouldn't say waste, but spend more time on something that I've already finished making. It's the fear of having to start again with something that you were like checked off your list. So we don't actually playtest our homebrew stuff, and we should. Especially, like, it's better to actually make something that's simpler and then playtest it than make something that is complex and sounds interesting and has all these moving parts. For example, you spread enemies, you have waves that are coming, you add cover and difficult terrain and multiple entrances to the room and exits and hazards, and you see, like, this is something that I thought was like, hey, you can always do these things to make a Pathfinder encounter interesting. This, like, adding all of these, adding half of these, is a nightmare to keep track of. So you do a couple, you try to combine, you do some homebrew mechanics that are like this, and then you playtest it. You roll some dice, you look at your characters like sheets, and you try to figure out how this will play out. In one of the previous sessions, the one that was in like the planar adventure, I used 10 candles as like a thing on the table where one player is doing a ritual, and that ritual is represented by 10 candles, and others can like call onto that ritual to have things happen and like sway the story in their favor, or you know, uh, in the favor of the enemy. But that depended on how many candles were, you know, turned off, and how, and there is a mechanic, I don't remember it very well, where when you get ones, you have like a dice pool of sixes, and if you, of these sixes, and when you get the one, the GM takes that die, and then, you know, slowly the influence to the story is going back to the GM. So it was this whole crazy meta thing, because my reasoning was, on third level, interplanar stuff is so far away from the understanding of an average character that there was this meta part that our characters didn't understand, but we as players were kind of doing to make the story very magical. Turns out that what was happening in Pathfinder was much quicker than what we wanted to do with the 10 candle setup. Of course, we stripped it away of some rules. We did have papers with like things, what is the hopeful moment, the what would you do in a big emergency where you have nothing left, and those like traits, positive and negative traits of characters. We had all that on papers, and we did it like the 10 candle character creation, like one would write it for the other, and it was fun. Two players ended up using it a couple of times. Two players didn't use it at all. We ended up with half or more candles after a lot of play. I could have probably figured out that that is not going to work by just trying to put myself in the situation that the players were in and see how rolling those dice would function, how burning things would return my ones, and I would see, okay, so this is slow, and we can do so much more without relying on that mechanic at all. So even though this is a room design video, for me, it reminded me that I have to playtest some things, especially when I'm bending the rules, creating new enemies, and it sounds so straightforward, like, of course you're gonna playtest things. We playtested Redmark. We're still, from time to time playtesting it. So why wouldn't I playtest a random interesting encounter that I homebrewed? So yeah, go check this video out. Go watch it. It's on Runehammer's channel. You can't miss it. Just type Runehammer, Room Design, the new ones. I mean, watch all the old ones as well. They're fantastic. Also, I've seen that that was a long time ago, but House DM, I don't think he's doing YouTube anymore. He had a couple of good room design videos as well. So yeah, I would say that is the topic I wanted to talk about today. Now back to the comments, and I can see we're seeing on screen only comments from the vertical stream, which is... I don't even know why these things happen. Technology. But I am looking at the comments on my phone, and the Eclectic Goat asks, how do I get you back on for Season 2? We can do whatever you want for Season 2. I think you mentioned you're not doing just game reviews or talking about people talking about smaller games, but other topics are in there as well. If so, yeah, we can for sure find an interesting topic to chat on. I'm sure that there's a bunch of stuff to talk about in this hobby, because I haven't tried a lot of new games. Like Pathfinder 2 is new for me. I've played one for quite a while. I even have the like small pocket version of the core rulebook. I still have like, proper feelings for this book, you know, when you... It's my first game and it looks so nice. Oh my god, look at this. I love it. Like, so many mechanics, rules, ideas in such a small book. It's fascinating. Even have a note here. It says what? Who knows? It's... Oh, the planes. Yeah, I have a fascination with planes, so I was probably researching that here. I just love it. It's so nice. And honestly, I am not a fan of Pathfinder art, but I like the art from the first one a bit better. I don't know. Maybe it's just nostalgic feelings, you know, for a certain book. But then, like Pathfinder 2 is this book. It's like we're going back to the roots. You can see like the similarities between the covers, and bigger text, bigger book, good presentation, honestly. But what I am not a huge fan of, this is now just half of what you need to actually play Pathfinder 2. I mean, you can, but you have only like a limited amount of classes. I think you have like Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Ranger, Rogue, Witch, and Wizard. You don't have the Sorcerer, you don't have the Monk, and you need to get Player Core, you need to get Player Core 2, then you have the GM Core. I only have Player Core 1 and GM Core, and it's now easy to confuse with the Remaster Edition, but good work on the remaster. Honestly, like everything that they changed, I really like. Most of the things. I mean, jumping from 1 to the remaster right away, like of course I love the changes they made in the second edition, but I think when I watch the videos that compare the second edition and the remaster, I really dig some of the changes. Especially the fact that there is no attack of opportunity. I mean, there is. It's a feat that you get on level 6 called the Reactive Strike, and it makes the battlefield so much more dynamic, because people are not just, you know, afraid of attack of opportunity. Especially less tanky characters. I know there were tactics to avoid it and to be safe with it, but especially at lower levels, it was too punishing to to have, and then you would have static battles. I really like how this is going. So yeah, at the moment we're playing this beast, not very indie, and still there is a lot of topics we could cover. A horror panel. Yes. I am all for it. We should do a horror panel. Um but can we do it? We can't give too many examples. I don't know how far we can push it on YouTube. Like, that would be super cool, but I would probably like it, you know, to take it places. You know, with, like, go into the darkness. What do you need? What do you need for a good horror game? Yeah, that would be interesting. For a good horror game, I'll think about it because you probably have um, like a hierarchy of how important things are. Not everything is equally important. We can do like a rating, like the most to least important, or at least the most important things in horror, in our opinions, or something like that. I'm in. We should do it. Checking my mail, I had to get the contract to sign for the new job. Very exciting stuff. That's why I'm streaming this much lately. Just using the time I have left until I am a busy and tired person again. Have you ever seen this book? This is one of the first books that I bought. Um, just to answer the comment first. Yeah, D&D doesn't do horror well because it's hard to die in D&D. I think like it is hard to lose a character, but if you find a way to make them care about something, then you can do horror. And I think did Pathfinder 1 have a mechanic where if you lose more than half of your HP in a single hit, you are instantly dead? Something like that. I think if you have a mechanic like that and you introduce a threat that seems powerful enough, then it can be pulled off. The thing that I think is really hard to do is like actually challenge a player, you know, like for example, darkness. Darkness is something that we would use to conceal some things in a game where a high level character can see in the dark, or even like a low level character, if they have dark vision, they can see in the dark. You cannot use those mechanics. So how do you obstruct visibility? You can say with walls and stuff, but then you have items that lets you see through walls. It's all I think the problem is that you need to handcraft the situation for good horror. Like you need to figure out what your players have, how to counter all of that, how to make them feel, you know. Let me just take the music down a bit. How to make them feel threatened. That is the biggest thing. When you're playing Call of Cthulhu, like you, after a while, you just go through the motions. You know how to create the atmosphere. You know whatever they find, they're not gonna be saving themselves. And now that I say that out loud, well, it's kind of the same with D&D, but Yeah, if you find a scenario where nothing can save them, then yes, probably. But it's still not very... I will have to think about it. It is not very fun to sit down and try to do horror when you can have healing potions, for example, or death saves. I don't know. I'm just like throwing ideas out, but I have to think about it more. It can probably be done. Like I just think that it is not worth the amount of prep. Yeah, I didn't even think about serial killers. The first thing that came to my mind was like monsters, outsiders, you know, abyssal stuff, eldritch horror-esque things. For like serial killers, I tend to do some body horror and like slasher horror in my games usually. Like for me, the aftermath of a goblin raid isn't just, oh, some villagers are, you know, dead. It becomes gruesome. But we like to play in worlds that feel a bit more, you know, that have that weight. A lot of official content would just stay away from that, and even if you look at there is I can't find it right now again, but even if you look at the book, like what they propose you not do in the game, what you shouldn't describe, I think like we've basically gone through all of those because we love the aspect of these games that leans into horror. Of course, in fantasy we do tend to go into the, you know, into a power fantasy. I wouldn't say heroic fantasy because it's not always heroic, but yeah, like it is hard to play with any sort of it takes real, you know, work to actually set stuff up so that players really feel threatened. And I think that is because you really need to put them through a lot to get their resources. And I'm not talking about items, but like get them their resources, their spell slots, HP and stuff to a point where they will feel like they're in danger without cheesing the game. Like you don't want to say you stepped on you know, those classic dungeons where you have save or die, roll a save or die. And I think if you put Lamentations of the Flame Princess has a module, a wizard tower that has like infinite amount of insane stuff like that. Like if you touch a doorknob, you roll a save or die. It starts like that. So if you can get players into a place like that, I think they would be pretty scared, especially if they can't get out and they have invested some time into these characters. The D&D as horror in a one-shot, I am not sure. But it's a good topic. I can confirm since I started thinking out loud about it, so I think it's a perfect topic. We should do it. I'm not gonna spend more of my arguments here. We'll save that for your stream. Yeah, this is a book I started reading, never quite finished it. The reason why I bought it was I just started playing Pathfinder, and one of the things that really annoyed me is that you can't, like, say I attack its eye and then, you know, you pierce a spider's eye and it can't attack you because it can't see. There are cold shots and stuff that allows you to do similar things, but they're all feats, and like I couldn't understand why that was a thing, why that was abstracted. And then I found online that this game does Like just that you can get injured into like every limb or something like that. Never read it. They have this really strangely printed version. This is next on my list to try out, just to read it, see what it brings to the table. I don't know. If I'm not mistaken, it's where is it from? I don't know where they're from. Doesn't say. Or I'm just blind. Still, quite interesting. Yeah, it has like folk magic. Animism. Yeah, mysticism, theism, sorcery. It looks like something that would be very interesting for a setting, maybe like a folk Slavic setting. That would be really cool if it has these things. And I saw some runes and stuff that really are evocative. I don't know, if you have tried it out, tell me in the comments, is it worth it? Should I go through it, try to run something? I know it's like, should be an older game, or just a game that's aiming for that aesthetic. I really like the aesthetic. There's the character sheet. Yeah, you see like it has head, left arm, right arm, chest, abdomen, left leg, right leg. Skills. Movement, walk, run, sprint. Cult information, abilities. Oh, by the way, I always forget to take this off, the spoiler thing. Maybe I can make it automatic so when I click the topic it stops being a spoiler. My poor players think they shouldn't watch it. Combat styles, weapons and shields. Crunchy, that's what it is. From what I can see, crunchy. Still not more crunchy than Pathfinder, I'm sure, but cool. Caught my eye. Fantastic. Well, do we have anything else to do? I don't think so. That would then be it for today. We tried the new setup. I'm pretty satisfied with how this works. New camera there. Even managed to stream on 2 places at once. Pretty satisfied with it. Did some prep, not too much. Figured out some details. I think that is more than enough for 2.5 hours. Okay, so thank you again for hanging out, and I'll see you probably next week. Yeah, with a recap of how this all went, and with new ideas, new interesting stuff. Off for more coffee. Thanks for reminding me. If I don't stream at the beginning of the week, that's because work stuff. What a lovely problem to have now, so we'll be in touch, me and you. Bye bye.